Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show in which we talk about shows that are in development, cancellations, renewals, all that kind of thing. At the end of the episode, we pick our favourite TV episode of the week, which, admittedly, right now is not really that possible because there was nothing outside of the DC shows, so we can still pick something, although it'll kind of be the same pick as that show, I imagine, because.
And also, I haven't decided yet. I typically formulate my final opinion on
Mm-hmm.
those as we talk through them.
But we haven't done that yet because we're recording that after this week.
Yeah, so okay. And I mean, I can't pick Doctor Who this week.
Maybe we'll just forgo that section this week since there's that, because we ain't picking Night Flyers. I'm damn sure of
Oh
that.
God, no. It's definitely not 1983.
You could check our episode 1 review of Night Flyers up now. Okay, so yeah, we'll dive into the news then. So couple of renewals first off. One of which neither of us are really into, but Narcos Mexico got renewed for season 2, which is notable to me only that I didn't realise it was actually a second show. I thought it was just this season of Narcos is called Mexico.
No. It's a spin-off shared universe thing that they're doing.
Which is fair enough. I just, for some reason, I assumed it was like, oh, season 3 set in
It's got a subtitle.
Mexico, so it's got a subtitle, yeah. I thought that's what they were doing. But that's just me not paying attention to it more than anything else. But yeah, so that's getting season 2. Also renewed was The Good Place on NBC for season 4. So, good news. Especially since that show, for a sitcom, has a very defined kind of story. Like, I feel like they have to have an ending in mind, given how much it changes up every season and how it seems to keep building upon itself.
Maybe that's the challenge, is every season it's like, well, what now?
If they've completely made up obviously there's a lot of episodes they've made up as they've went along, but if they've completely made up the overall tapestry of what the direction of that show is as they've been going, I'm impressed because it feels very planned out.
I hope they did. But I just made it up. It's way more fun.
So yeah, so Good Place got renewed, which is good because I enjoy that show. But yeah, so that's it for the kind of the quick stuff. We do have some casting for a couple of shows. First up, M. Night Shyamalan's series that Apple's doing, the thriller that is untitled. It doesn't have an official premise yet, although there's
the family safe thriller.
Apparently, well, PG-13. I mean,
was that the limitation?
I think that's the limitation. If they're doing a thriller, they have to be going to PG-13.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no way it can just be PG. There's no way.
Last time I remember, it was just family friendly was the official word.
I think that's what they mean. I think that's what their scope is when they say that.
Okay.
Because I feel like family friendly, if you take it at its phrase on its own, it really means like under 10-year-olds can watch this. But I don't think that's the case here necessarily. Anyway, so Toby Kebbell's been cast in this in a main role. Victor Von Doom.
I feel like you just brought his career down again by just mentioning it.
That is the first thing I'm going to. Even though he was in a Black Mirror that was pretty good, even though he's been in other things here or there, the first thing
wasn't he an ape?
You're right. It was the villain in the Apes movies, but
yeah. I mean, a better performance in that than it was in Fantastic Four. Not his fault, admittedly, but no.
He's Victor Von Doom. What can I say? That's who he is. So he's been cast on it. The exact details have been kept still secretive because I mean it's Shyamalan, so that makes sense.
For the course, yeah.
But the scuttlebutt is that it follows a married couple who hires a young woman to serve as the nanny to their child. And Kebbell's going to play a professional chef. He's the father, who is married to Dorothy, played by Lauren Ambrose. And we also have Rupert Grint and Nell Tiger Free are also cast in it already. So
yes, I remember speaking about those ones.
So there you go. We've got some casting shaping up for that. So yeah, Apple's got more stuff coming. That's per usual.
Apple have too much stuff coming.
It's pretty much the constant story these days. Next up, though, speaking of casting, Jupiter's Legacy. This is the Netflix show based on Mark Millar's comic.
Yeah, he gave of updates on all of the properties that they're working on at the minute. He just give a brief overview of where they all were in production. He mentioned that this is the one that will be coming first, I think.
Well, they casted it, so clearly it's moving further along.
Most of them are in the script writing stage.
So Marina Baccarin has been cast in it, who was in Arrow and Firefly.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Bana's been cast in it.
Oh, God,
And
is this something else?
apparently Carrie Coon's also up for the same role as Marina Baccarin, so they're in. So I shouldn't have said cast in it. They are in negotiations. Yes. So there's two of them vying for the same role. I like both actresses though, so I mean,
Yeah.
fight it out. Let them fight, basically. And then Pablo Schreiber is also in talks to take a role. Some recognizable names there. Bannon and Schreiber are reportedly up to play the Utopian Sheldon Sampson and Brainwave / Walter Sampson, the co-founders of the superhero team Union of Justice from the comic book show. So they're the founding partners. And then Baccarin and Kuhn are both up for the role of Lady Liberty, aka Grace, who is married to the Utopian. So that would be Banna's character. Assuming they're like respective when they said the two of them. That'd be Banna's character.
Cool.
And if you don't remember this, Stephen DeKnight is a showrunner.
Showrunning.
Yes.
8
episodes on the first season. They're going to start shooting in 2019, April 2019 to be specific. So
could maybe see it towards the end of next year.
Maybe. I'd say
so
more
it's
lately,
only 8 episodes.
Yeah, I'd still say more lately, early 2020 though.
I agree. I'm just thinking it's 8 episodes. It's not impossible.
So next up, Rupert Wyatt has stepped away. Speaking of apes movies, he has stepped away from Halo. He was meant to direct several episodes of the Showtime Halo TV show, and he has dropped out. Apparently due to the production commitment being too much. He said that this was just too much on his schedule, and he gave a very kind of nice, this has been a creatively rich time working on this show.
It does sound amicable though. It sounds like there was some delays on the production, and it wasn't starting when he was expecting, and he's got other stuff lined up.
So he's left. Which, if we're going back to move the needle, go back to the needle and where is it on your meter? I feel like for me this puts it back because he was probably the one thing about this show that was kind of like, oh, this is why I might like this.
I agree that it drops the needle down a little bit. I mean, I'm still excited because I'm a Halo fan, but he's a good director, so that added to it, right? So losing him inherently makes it potentially worse until we learn of replacements.
So he's dropped out of Halo. He did Captive State, which is coming out in March. Yeah, that's his next movie. So he's got a new movie out soon, and presumably
have we seen a trailer for that yet?
2 trailers. We've talked about it twice on Trailer Talk.
I'll take your word for it.
You are shocked, John Goodman, Alien Invasion.
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
Look, I don't know how your brain remembers that many trailers. It's a stupid amount that we talk about.
It just does. It's weird that you don't.
We talk about like 10, 12 trailers a week sometimes.
Yeah, but that's one of the more interesting ones because someone's attached to it.
I remember the concept and what it is. I just don't remember the name.
You never remember anything, though. Actually, anytime I bring up anything that we've ever talked about before, you're like, well, have we talked about that? I'm like, yes, we have. We have several times.
We talk about so much stuff that unless it really, sticks in my brain and it's like, oh, that's interesting.
No, I'm not giving you this one because this one we talked about twice on 2 separate occasions. Once we've done it twice, you're not getting a pass.
I mean, scientifically, you're supposed it's 3 times till your brain remembers something.
Well, we've talked about it 3 times now. So if this comes up again and you don't remember it, you're getting shit.
You will not remember that I said that.
The crux of your argument there was that I remember things that I shouldn't.
Yeah. Details are like, about the movies and shows, not necessarily random shit I say.
Something I can hold against you later, I will remember. Thank you very much. So, yes. Captive State.
Sounds plausible.
I'm noting it. I'm noting it down. Alright, next up. Brian K Vaughn has signed a 3-year overall deal with Legendary Entertainment. There's no specific projects, which is why I don't have this in the new show section as of yet. We know why The Last Man's already in development at FX.
Yeah, that's already been going a while.
Yeah, they're casting things, they're doing things. Whereas this is a 3-year deal with Legendary to adapt several of his original creator-owned content, as well as have him develop new projects straight, directly for film and TV. So some of these could be films, some of them could be TV shows. It's hard not to immediately think of both Saga and Paper Girls as TV shows. They seem very, very open to that adaptation.
Yeah. Vaughn's another one of those writers that I like his concepts, but I don't like a lot of the stories that he tells.
Yeah, this is where we're in disagreement. I love Vaughn. I think Vaughn's one of the best comic writers born today.
I don't think he's bad. I just don't get it. It just doesn't work for me.
Nah, the 25 or so issues I've read of Saga, I've let them build up. I've actually got like double of that to read now. Is phenomenal. Why the Last Man I think is fantastic. Paper Girls, the trade or two I read of that, fantastic. I love all of his work. So I'm intrigued. I'm obviously I'm concerned because even if he's involved, who's running these shows? Does it maintain the same quality that I think his books have? I don't know. Those are things that can go either way. But there's definitely potential in just about any of his comic series becoming shows. So, no, I'm excited by this. With reservations. Excited with reservations, I'll say.
Fair enough.
Because they could go tits up because adaptations.
That's how it works.
Yeah, but I like the source material quite a bit. So, and it could be some of his weirder or lesser known things that he wants to adapt as well. But I feel like you get Saga on HBO and you're winning, right? That's because that has to be on a platform like that. That cannot be on network TV.
No, I mean, no, it can't.
It's not even close to being on anything else. As much as it's got all these sci-fi elements and stuff like that, it's definitely a mature story that needs the leeway.
It's a boring story, but it's mature.
It is not a boring story. These are filthy ginger lies. Do not listen to them whatsoever. Connor's just upset that I've still not tried a James McKelvey comic. I hope I don't like at this point. I hope I don't like his stuff, just so I can hold it against you the way you give me shit about Vaughn.
I mean, McKelvey's the artist. So, I mean, usually in this conversation, I assume
who writes Wicked and Divine? Who's the other one?
Kieran Gillen.
Gillen, that's the one I wanted to say. Not McKelvey. Although McKelvey does the art on his book, so it wasn't that weird a mistake.
No, McKelvey is his long-time partner. You need to read Die. You would be so into that book.
Maybe I will, maybe I would.
It's all about a bunch of D&D players.
We'll see. I'm just saying. I actively hope I dislike his work just so I can give you shit the same way I get shit about Vaughn, because Vaughn's fantastic. And
I don't even hate Vaughn. I just not in the same way I hate some other people. Like there are some comic writers that I'm like, no, absolutely not. Like you're like there's writers that you have to pay me to read. Vaughn's like, well, I mean, I could. It's just kind of boring.
Yeah, but it's one thing when it's Lobdell where a lot of people hate him, and it's another thing where it's like Bendis where...
Yeah, Bendis
Not that everyone loves Bendis. Bendis does have his detractors. He's not universally loved by any means, but he does have a lot of supporters as well. Whereas I feel like Lobdell is a bit more...
Yeah, I'm thinking
mostly
like
disliked.
Remender as well is another one that...
Adelaide Remender, we're actually in agreement on that.
But we're definitely in the minority.
We are. Admittedly, I've not read his Uncanny X-Force, which everyone swears by. Yeah. But
Hickman's another one.
We're kind of in agreement there. So this is why I don't want to like Gillen, because I need a counterpoint to your Vaughn hate. I need a counterpoint. Yeah.
We'll find someone.
Yeah, I need someone that Connor loves in comics that I hate.
Mm.
Because then the cycle is complete and the balance
we need
is restored.
Balance, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, no, but I love Vaughn's work, so I'm intrigued to see what happens with Saga and Paper Girls and whatever else. Paper Girls is perfect for your Stranger Things kind of... And it's not the exact same, it's actually kind of a darker story in a lot of ways, but you can definitely see how it could get greenlit as a show because of the success of Stranger Things. There's definitely some elements to that. But there's also time travel. So, there's things that's going on. And then, yeah, so there you
go. Just while we're on Stranger Things briefly, the Game Awards were on last night.
Mm-hmm.
and they announced a Stranger Things game set after season 3. And
Alongside season 3 was the exact phrase.
Was it alongside? Yeah, but it's set after, I believe. It was what they said. I think it's coming out alongside. And just for a minute, I thought they were going to give us a release date.
Oh no!
I thought just for a minute, I was like, "Oh, is this where they give it us?" It's not.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
They joked that it's late because I've been playing too many games, but that was about it. Yeah. So, no, not released it.
Well, disappointing.
I wasn't expecting one, though.
No, I wasn't really either, but I wasn't expecting a Stranger Things game, though. So,
Yeah. I mean, it's a 16-bit game. It fits in the joke of the show. Although, funnily enough, the year it's set in is actually still too early for 16-bit. If they want to get really accurate about it.
Yeah.
Technically, they should still
I
be on 8-bit.
love a lot of those games, though, so I'm down for playing them.
I probably won't, but I appreciate the charm of it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like, when it comes to the 16-bit games, unless it's something I actually grew up with nostalgia, I don't
Can't go back to it.
I don't really get into like new ones that much. It's not that I can't enjoy 2D games or side scrolls or something like that, but it has to have like an art style that.
What about something like Hotline Miami?
Oh no.
Oh man, I love that game. I can't do that.
No, I can play something like Dust Elysian Tale. I can play something like Child of Light, where it's got like a unique art style that's not pixels. When it is pixels, because it's
downright gorgeous is the art style for both those games.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. They're hand drawn. They're animated. They're great. Yeah. But old school sprites, unless I grew up with it and give a shit about it from nostalgia, I'm probably not going to get into it. It's just a thing. It's a personal thing. I'm not saying don't make them. People like them. Go make them. It's fine. But anyway, so yeah, that was the Vaughn thing. So. Fox up next. We're out of comedies. We're out of the new comedies in development.
Okay, cool.
Fox has put in development a single camera comedy called 8. Spelled out is the word, not just the figure 8. So it's called 8. It is from writer Alison Bennett, who worked on You're the Worst, and Rob Rosell, who worked on New Girl and It's Always Sunny. In 8, after a whirlwind romance that resulted in a baby and a wedding, in that order, children of divorce Gillian and Trevor attempt to carve out their own family's identity, with 8 grandparents there to offer 8 million different opinions. So it's a new family comedy, but the gag is that both parents have all of the grandparents still alive.
That's what I'm thinking. This seems implausible.
It's not that implausible.
I don't know. At an age that I'm assuming they're at, okay, they got a kid, they're married,
I presume it's a young, because the kid's clearly on plan, so I'm assuming it's maybe a younger couple.
Yeah, sure.
Like early 20s, I'm thinking.
Fair enough. I guess I just mean, me personally, I don't know anyone at that age range that has all the grandparents still alive.
It's not impossible, though.
It's not impossible. Implausible was the word I used.
I would say it's implausible. I'd say maybe less than an average chance, but I wouldn't say that's implausible.
Fair enough.
But I honestly, this is maybe a dark thought, but my first thought is, wait, so you've got a cast that consists of 8 elderly people? You're going to be lucky if they all make it to like season 3. Like, that's a dark thought, but you have to think about this when you have a lot of old actors. Every
season you kill one off. You open each new season with a funeral.
But yeah, you have to try and predict which one you think is going to go first, so that it's actually working to what your show's going to be. Yes. I'm just thinking, you're playing Russian roulette with your acting ages there to me.
Yeah, just a little bit.
That's eight old people, but hey, but regardless, it's just family comedy, so whatever. Sounds okay for what it is. Next up, ABC has put in development a single-camera blue-collar family comedy from writer Paul McClellan, who worked on Smilf. Smilf executive producer Lee Eisenberg's also working on it. Paul McClellan's not got any credits listed here.
Oh, so
he could be from
that's a promising sign.
Written by McClellan, the Untitled Factory Town Project. Did you just call it that? Factory Town Project. It follows a blue-collar family in Kalamazoo, Michigan. What a fun town name.
I hope that's a real place, because it's stupid.
Oh, of course it is. I've heard of Kalamazoo.
Well, I haven't. and it's stupid.
How could you ever see your town with a serious face?
Exactly.
I'm from Kalamazoo. So they're adjusting to life after the family's patriarch is laid off from the local manufacturing plant by his son, and both have to adjust to their new roles in the family. So the son fired the father, and then you get a family comedy that comes after.
Sounds fun.
Oh, that sounds okay. And that's it for the comedies. Small comedy section.
Oh, it's going to be a light week.
Yeah, fairly light week for what it is. But first up in the next section, we have another Rod Serling anthology show getting a revival or a reboot or a remake or whatever word you want to use to describe these things. Because if it's anything like the Twilight Zone one that's getting made at CBS All Access, it'll probably be some remade episodes, some new stories.
It's half a remake, half a reboot.
Yeah, it's the 2010s version of, well, what I'm about to tell you is Night Gallery. Have you ever heard of Night Gallery?
Can't say I have.
It is the horror supernatural sequel to Twilight Zone, spiritually speaking, that Rod Serling did afterwards, because obviously Rod Serling did Twilight Zone, and this was kind of similar in that he introduced the segments at the start and the end of the episodes. He was in like a gallery, and every story would be like, they'd have like a painting that would like lead into the story. So you'd like, here's a painting, and it would go in. And I've never seen it. I'm just going from the description here, but you can kind of see it in your head. It makes sense.
Sure.
You can see how it works. It ran from 1969 to 1973 on NBC. So this is actually Sci-Fi who's landed this. They won a bidding war to do the reboot of Night Gallery. It's coming from Teen Wolf creator and executive producer Jeff Davis. And Midnight Texas executive producer David Gianalori. So
expectations dropped slightly.
Those names aren't filling me with like extreme. But here's the thing though, like, are they actually writing the stories, or are they just the ones bringing it? Because you could have a lot of guest writer and directors doing this, because they're all standalone tales.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
There's no reason to say that episode 4 couldn't be a 10 out of 10.
No, it's true. It's true.
So it's hard to say.
Anthologies are a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I wonder who the host will be, because we've got Peele doing the Twilight Zone one.
That's true. Can they grab him to do this as well? But look, we need you to do. Look, one day, come and shoot 10 episodes in and out.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't take that long, because he's only doing like a minute at the start and the end of each episode.
That's it. It's like, just come. Look, here you go. Here's all of them. Just come out for a day. This is it. Sorted.
It'd be weird if they got Peele. I don't know who they'll go with, but I don't know. I could see someone like Patton Oswalt or someone like that being grabbed for this. I don't know. Or if they want to go more horror route, maybe get Robert Englund or someone like that. Someone who's like connected to the horror genre to come in and do it.
Depends on what the tone of the show overall ends up being, I suppose.
Yeah, but I'm curious. Next up, Netflix has acquired the worldwide rights to a Hong Kong set horror comedy series called Demon's Path from Astro Group. It'll air on December the 22nd, so it's coming very soon.
Oh, those bastards.
And we're going to have to try this.
What?
We're going to have to try this.
We already have 3 things on December 22nd.
What? What do we have on December
22nd? We are reviewing the Timeless finale movie. Runaways starts.
Is that on the 14th?
No, that's that. No. 14th is Sabrina.
And what else is in Tidelands?
14th is Sabrina, Tidelands, and Travelers. And then the 22nd is Timeless, Runaways, and Diablero.
This could fight Diablero for that slot, because the series follows forensic pathologist who has the ability to see the last 10 seconds of the life of the dead. Working together with a friendly exorcist and a policeman, they solve homicide cases, but as their investigations proceed, they become the target of a murderer.
Is this like Hong Kong iZombie?
It kind of sounds like it. I wanted to try this. I didn't realise that day was so packed already.
Yeah, that day is hell.
We have to put out a vote. What do you want us to do, Diablero or Demon's Path? Demon's Path sounds more fun to me, but I mean...
But you don't know that it'll actually be better.
Yeah, no, the quality... I wonder if we could find a trailer for this since it's out so soon. Because I assume it might have aired in Hong Kong already.
What
No,
was it called?
then again, it said it had the worldwide rights, so does that mean Hong Kong as well? Does that mean it's got the local rights?
What was it? Demon's
Path.
Trailer.
Is there a trailer for this bad boy?
I'm looking. Hang on, I might have one.
Oh. We will pause the recording and we will come back with thoughts on the trailer. if there is.
No, it was a video link, so I thought it was going to be the trailer. It's not.
Do we have images, perhaps?
I've got rid of the trailer from the search and see.
It's out in 2 weeks. There has to be some sort of media of some kind relating to this production.
Hang on. Bloody disgusting. What have they got for me?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, we've got a trailer.
Oh, okay, right. We'll be back in a second with thoughts on the trailer for Demon's Path. Well, damn, I want to watch this now.
Seriously?
Damn right,
I got everything I needed from that trailer. Thank you very much.
There was no English subtitles for the record.
No
English subtitles, so we had to just kind of take in the visuals.
Yeah.
For what they were. But there's some insanely bad visual effects at some points. It ends with a maniacal man laughing right into the camera's lens. I don't even.
I don't know what this show is.
It starts off feeling really dark and serious, but then there's this really silly moments as it goes on.
Yeah.
This looks interesting to me. I don't know. I'm intrigued. This could be a half-hour show, though. This might be.
It could. We'll have to see what happens.
We could maybe fit in the first one at least. See how it is.
Maybe not on that day. There are 4 things that day. If we do that,
I'll be fine.
I'm still working that day. I'm not off for Christmas yet.
I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Demon's Path with a side of Diablero. Then that Tide
Runaways, was it? And the
Runaways.
Timeless, which is going to be double length.
Oh yeah, Timeless is double.
We've got no chance.
Sorry, Timeless, you're going on Saturday. We got Demon's Path to talk about. I want to do Demon's Path. I really do. Alright. Next up. Hulu is breaking new ground with this weird innovative. I have to think about how to say that there.
Is it as weird as Demon's Path?
It's not weird in the same way Demon's Path. It's weird in how the format's weird here.
Oh, I feel like I might hate this.
So it's a 2-series drama project based on 2 John Grisham novels, and they intend this to be the start of the Grisham Universe. They're based on 2 books: the 1995 The Rainmaker, and then 2015's Rogue Lawyer. Rogue Lawyer, what a boring title. So first chapter.
Someone got lazy with the titling over that 20 years, didn't they?
Yeah, because The Rainmaker sounds fine. It sounds like a decent title. And then Rogue Lawyer just sounds like,
Sounds like a CBS show.
Rogue Lawyer. So it's a multi-series project. It comes from writers Michael Seitzman and Jason Richman. And they all serve as co-showrunners on The Rainmaker and Rogue Lawyer, both books, both of which are described as 2 books, 2 shows, 1 shared storyline. They'll work in both shows, which will have an assembled a writer's room that they'll share between the 2. Steitzman will focus more on The Rainmaker, Richman will focus more on the Rogue Lawyer, but they'll be working together throughout the whole thing. The room will work simultaneously on 2 series, with the goal to produce 8 scripts for each. So it'll be 2 8-episode seasons. I've got a lot of description for this because I felt this needed the explanation.
Are they airing like one after the other, or are they airing at the same time? So here's, each week you get an episode of each.
I assume it's the same time. It might be binge style as well, and I'll get to why I think that in a second here, given something else I said.
Okay.
Each series will be based on one of the books and will have its own storyline and cast, but the 2 shows' plots will also be linked and they will share a villain, and some, but not all, characters from one show will appear in the other. The villain is a character from one of the books, though his or her identity is being kept secret. Essentially, every episode of the series will be a crossover episode. Stay with me. The plan is for the two series, both set in present day, to be filmed concurrently, and they will be independent of each other, with viewers able to watch vertically, viewing all episodes of one series without the other and told a story, which will work. Additionally, people can watch horizontally, meaning they can watch the first episode of The Rainmaker and then the first episode of Rogue Lawyer and then the second episode of each, etc. The intertwined stories with a murder mystery connected to a larger conspiracy will be designed that either way of consuming the two series would work. So you can watch all of one then all the other, or you can alternate between them, and they're somehow writing them so that they work either way.
This sounds like an atrocious mess.
Unless they pull it off, in which case they're goddamn geniuses.
This description of just the concept was a mess to read.
I almost want to watch at least the first episode of both of these just to see how it's working. Just to see. I have no interest in Grisham. I have no interest in what the plot of these are going to be. But I want to see how this works.
No. You want to see if this works.
Hey, if this works, it could be this intricate, weird. This is almost what the dream shared comic universe would be. Is that all this stuff's going concurrently, and you have the crossovers, but each individual series would make because sure, the CW did the crossovers, but it's like a one time a year thing, and everything stops for it, and it's just kind of that's what it is. This is no. Everything's constantly living with each other, and there's because it says here in the next part, the idea is to organically build out a bigger John Grisham universe with other books developed as parallel series. If it comes to fruition, characters from the Grisham novels may be introduced in The Rainmaker and Rogue Lawyer before they anchor their own shows. Grisham books lend themselves to crossovers as many take place in the same location. The fictional town of Clanton, Mississippi is a popular setting in his novels, as well as Memphis, Biloxi, and New Orleans also used as backdrops. It also mentions that some major characters in one show will become minor characters in the other show, and vice versa.
Do you know what it's done with this is?
What?
They went, we did this with Stephen King. Castle Rock worked out okay. Let's go bigger. Who do we do? Grisham.
Oh, Hulu, yeah, from Hulu's perspective.
In terms of let's take an author's work and mishmash them into a one cohesive thing. In this case, it's like, okay, we're adapting them into multiple things, but it's all one world, one time, one story.
Obviously, this isn't this one. I'm just using these two as an example to make it easy, but it's almost like one shows the CIA, one shows the FBI, but they have to intermingle a lot throughout the stories, and that's where you'll get the minor characters from one being, major characters on the other, and so on. And they'll concurrently just run along each side each other. Because it even says there it's a murder mystery and a larger conspiracy. So presumably the lawyer's dealing with the murder mystery, and then Rainmaker's got the big conspiracy story, but they kind of intermingle a lot.
Oh, this is going to be such a train wreck. I can't wait to see it.
The Grisham Universe.
Why is there a Grisham Universe?
Alright, next up. HBO has put in development The Dolls, a limited series with Laura Dern and Issa Rae attached to star and executive produce. The project comes from Dern and Jane Lemon's Jaywalker Pictures. Rae, who's under a deal with HBO, will also co-write the project with Laura Kittrell and Amy Iniobi. Iniobi, that's a cool name. The Dolls, inspired by true events, recounts the aftermath of Christmas Eve riots within two small Arkansas towns in 1983, which erupted over, yes, Cabbage Patch Dolls. Like I have a clue what a Cabbage Patch doll is. This is clearly not a thing that I grew up with.
Do you not ever see them on TV?
I have no idea what a cabbage. I've heard of them. I've heard the name. I know the thing, but I don't know what it looks like.
Oh, fair enough. You might know one if you saw one.
Do they have heads that look like cabbage? Is that why they're called Cabbage Patch Dolls?
Not really.
No, okay. I'm just curious. The limited series explores class, race, privilege, and what it takes to be a good mother. So this is actually a very serious thing, even though it comes from riots about Cabbage Patch Dolls. Yeah. Were they the hot Christmas item that year? Is that what this is?
I assume so,
Was this the Buzz Lightyear of 83 where people... I know that people got into riots about Buzz Lightyear, but it was the hot toy for, 95. So.
Yeah. I guess so. They were like, no, everyone wants it, so fighting for it.
I saw Jingle All the Way. I don't need to see this.
This is probably going to be better, just based on...
How dare you? How dare you, sir? Put the cookie down right now.
I mean, whatever. Okay.
Who needs a Turbo Man doll? I've got the real Turbo Man at home. Jamie. Ah, it's a terrible movie, but it's a great movie at the same time. It's both. It is the best of both worlds.
It's not.
It is. Jingle All the Way is a classic from my childhood. I will not. I did not grow up with Cabbage Patch dolls. I grew up with Jingle All the Way, and I am all the better for it. Thank you very much. Yes, it's called The Dolls. I was also hoping it was an adaptation of the movie Dolls from the 80s, directed by Stuart Gordon, which was a
That
fun
would have been
horror
way
movie.
better.
Yeah. Speaking of HBO, though, they've also ordered a series called
That's
The
what they do.
Outside. Let me finish my sentence, yeah,
Don't
sarcastic
pause
prick.
in the wrong place.
Sometimes one has to pause to catch their breath, or whatever. So shut up. HBO has given a series order to supernatural drama The Outsider. It is based on a Stephen King book. Surprise, surprise. Ben Mendelsohn is set to star and produce. The project marks Mendelsohn's return to TV following his Emmy-winning turn on Bloodline. It comes from the Night Of co-creator and executive producer Richard Price. Now that
Well, that got more interesting.
I like Ben Mendelsohn. I like the Night Of quite a bit. You're giving me some of the right things.
I like Stephen King.
Director producer Jack Bender is also working on it. Jack Bender's a big TV director. He directed some of the big episodes of Lost. He's directed big episodes of various things. He's a notable name.
Fair enough.
So also worth mentioning, Jason Bateman's Aggregate Films is behind this as well, and he's also in talks to star and direct and executive produce.
It's a lot of hats.
A lot of hats. I mean, I don't know if Bender's actually in talks to direct, though. I think he's part of the same company that Bateman is.
Just on the production level.
Yeah. But I mean, if so, you got producer writer from Night Of, you got Jason Bateman, and you got Ben Mendelsohn. We have a supernatural story based on a Stephen King book. Because Bateman's set to direct the first 2 episodes. But it's still up in the air if he'll co-lead opposite Bendelson, because it's a 2-man show essentially. So he might be the co-lead as well, but that's not confirmed yet. In The Outsider, written by Price, a seemingly straightforward investigation into the gruesome murder of a local boy leads a seasoned cop and an unorthodox investigator to question everything they believe that to be real, as an insidious supernatural force edges its way into the case.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the names attached are what make that exciting.
It sounds kind of standard.
Yeah. That said, though, I can't think of many supernatural detective things that HBO's done. So
On HBO? No, I don't think so.
So even if it didn't have these names attached to it, yeah, it'd still be kind of interesting. HBO are doing a supernatural detective thing. That could
It's
be
finally
interesting.
catching on.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued. I like Mendelsohn as an actor. Having someone who was creatively behind The Night Of is a big plus.
That helps because that was pretty fantastic.
So I'm into it. So it's called The Outsider. Intrigued. Next up, Amazon Studios has stepped up for Deadtown. It's an Entertainment One and Grey Matter Entertainment script that will be developed for a pilot by Shauna Cross. Deadtown is an adaptation of Catherine M. Valenti's novella, The Refrigerator Monologues. Now, this actually relates to something that you're very familiar with.
I think I already know what it is, yeah.
Yes. I've never heard of someone being refrigerated, but I've heard of someone being fridged. Fridged is the term that most people use, but this is what it's referring to. Refrigerator here is in the context of a female character being fridged, which it does explain in a second. So it's an hour-long premise. It's a blueprint to create an original superhero universe set in the modern era with an underlying theme of female empowerment. 5 recently dead women meet in Deadtown, a purgatory where they discover that their entire lives were merely in service to superhero men that they happened to cross paths with, resulting in each of their deaths. Or in comic book terms, they were refrigerated. Again, I've never heard it it's rephrased as refrigerated. It's always been fridged, but same thing. I mean, it means the same thing. I've never heard
Whoever
it.
wrote this description was just way too posh.
Yeah, that's what it basically sounds like. But yeah, fridged, which means to be frozen out of the story once they've provided the emotional backstory for the men. or in the case of Kyle Rayner, literally put in a
Put in the
fridge.
fridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until now, they start to discover their own powers, tell their sides of the narrative, and decide to write their own damn stories. And a group of seemingly ordinary women discover their own true power. It's a subversive, kick-ass exploration. See, they had to write refrigerate out properly, but they then used the phrase kick-ass, later on.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's a subversive, kick-ass exploration of what it means to be a woman and to find their inner power and use it. So,
but they're all still dead, right?
I don't know. I think they come back. From the sounds of it, to me, it sounds like they get resurrected with powers.
It neglected to mention that.
It must, unless they help other women who are going to be fridged. Unless they from beyond the grave help, because it says a group of women write their own damn stories, and they must either come back and then rewrite their own stories by becoming heroes themselves, or they help women who have not been killed yet, who have not been fridged yet, to avoid the fridging.
Yeah, or they just do it in Deadtown because that's where they are. That's the name of the show.
Oh, so you think there's going to be a living town? Well, not a living. That's maybe not the word, but a functioning town of dead people.
Maybe,
yeah. That part's a bit unclear. I assume they come back, but
see, I would have assumed that as well, which is why I questioned it. But I feel like they would have mentioned that in the description. That feels like the basic step. I feel like I'm missing a sentence somewhere.
Either way, it sounds intriguing, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's potential in this. Cross, who's working on it, scripted Whip It, if you've ever seen that. That was the roller derby, Drew Barrymore, Ellen Page.
Right, okay.
Well, Drew Barrymore wasn't in it. Drew Barrymore directed it, specifically.
Yeah.
I like that movie. It was good.
I never saw it.
She also wrote Bad Santa 2 and Ice Day. Haven't seen Bad Santa 2.
I have no desire to. I haven't seen Bad Santa 1.
Oh, Bad Santa 1's pretty funny.
Take your word for it.
Is this your hatred of Christmas that's doing? The whole point of Bad Santa is that he hates Christmas. He's a cynical asshole. You would love Bad Santa.
But it doesn't end with him being a cynical asshole, does it? It ends with him seeing the good in Christmas. Because it's a bloody Christmas film.
Not really.
That's how they all end. Of course it does.
No, it doesn't. Not really. He literally. I mean, mild spoilers for Bad Santa. He literally ends that movie. He cares more about the kid that he's been with, but he ends that movie by complaining that his liver's screwed because he's too much of an alcoholic. Like that.
Yeah, see, that defeats the point. Christmas is a time to just drink. Don't complain about it. Worry about that after. See, this misses what I like about Christmas.
No,
it's a Christmas film.
You're clearly being really uninformed as to what Bad Santa is, because none of what you're saying actually makes sense with what the movie is.
Well, it sounds like it to me still.
Well, you're wrong. So people in the comments tell him he's wrong about Bad Santa, please. Anyway, we'll move on. Because Connor's been annoying. So, Apple's working on an 8-episode order for a drama show starring Richard Gere. They haven't quite ordered it yet. It's finalising the order.
Yeah, but it's just another one.
Yes.
Do you know what? How many have they actually got now?
Okay, this will take too long to count.
Oh, won't. I'm just going to go... I'll just Google it, and Wikipedia will probably... have it. 1, 2, 3.
This is an exciting show. I shall sit and kill time while Connor counts. And Connor has trouble with counting, so I really need to
24, 25. Yeah. Already 25 shows.
Is this including these two that I'm about to mention?
It depends what they are.
Well, this is an untitled project starring Richard Gere. Control F Richard Gere.
It is. I can see his name there.
Okay, right. So 8-episode show. It's coming from Howard Gordon, who worked on 24, and Warren Leight, who worked on Law and Order SVU. It is based on an Israeli series called Nevelot and hails from Fox 21 television studios. It's an untitled series. It stars on 2 elderly Vietnam vets and best friends, one of whom is played by Gere, who find their monotonous lives upended when a woman they both loved 50 years ago is killed by a car. How old is Richard Gere now?
1 second.
Loved 50 years ago. Is he 70?
He's 69.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So, close enough.
I didn't realise he was hitting the 70s, but fair enough. All right, fair enough.
Carry on.
Yeah,
Apple did not
1920,
ruin
he's
this.
in love. That makes sense. So anyway, so she's killed by a car in present day, and their lifelong.
I love how nonchalantly he's like, oh yeah, she's killed by a car, whatever. She got fridged.
She did. She got fridged. There you go. Their lifelong regrets and secrets collide with their resentment of today's self-absorbed millennials, and an act of self-defense snowballs into a tragic series of events.
I wasn't expecting that to go in that direction.
Two old men take on millennials.
This might be the best thing Apple's got coming out.
Yeah, I'm not particularly thrilled about the prospect of this one, but I mean, it doesn't.
It sounds just stupid and insane enough that it could be fun.
Oh my god!
It's just gonna be two 70-year-olds yelling at birds.
All right, next up. Apple has ordered another show. It's a basketball-themed drama called Swagger. It comes from NBA superstar Kevin Durant and his 35 Ventures. That's the name of his company. It does not have 35 ventures.
Well, I think he has to get to 35 and then stop.
35 projects, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't seem unreasonable.
No, that's all he's allowed to do. And
hey, if he just does one a year, that's 35 years of work in projects and profits. So why not? Shots Fired co-creator Reggie Rock Bythwood's also we're working on it. So he's writing and directing it, and Sheldon serving as showrunner. Swagger is inspired by Durant's youth basketball experiences. It explores the world of AAU basketball in the nation's capital, and the players, their families, and the coaches who walk a fine line between dreams and ambition, and opportunism and corruption. So
this might be the least interesting Apple show yet.
Oh, it's not. No, there's definitely less interest. This is the sort of thing where if this has like, I mean, if this Bythwood fellow, if he's a good writer and director, this could be something.
Sure. On concept, though, it's the least interesting to me.
On concept, sure, but it's one of these things where there's nothing bad about the concept. It's just the subject itself's not something you're interested in.
No, that's why I said least interesting, not the worst.
But it's completely neutral, though. It's just like you hand this good writing and directing, and there's nothing wrong with the idea.
I disagree that it starts at neutral. When it's something that's so uninteresting to me, it slips to the negative and has to work its way back up. That's how it works on my needle.
Alright, so we're playing Move the Needle. Where is it on your needle then? Like a 4?
I mean, based on... Yeah, probably about 4. That seems reasonable, because... I mean, I guess by your logic, it's a 5.
Yes, 5 is the standard. That's where we start, and then you go up or down from there.
Yeah. To me, it was just too uninteresting. It's like, okay, you can salvage this, and you give me quality later.
Salvage it.
You can salvage that score. You can get that back up.
No, what I mean is it's like I mean, it's just like... Oh, this is a terrible idea, but they could salvage it with good. Like the idea is fine. The idea is not good or bad. It's just straight. It's a straight idea.
Yeah, it's an unappealing to me idea.
I'm trying to have some balance on this show, and these extremist views that come from you about Christmas.
How is a 4 extremist? It is slightly less interesting than nothing.
Look, extremism may have been an extreme word to use, but I'm just saying you fly off the handle a bit.
Oh.
Next up, CW is taking a new stab at developing Dr. Mirage, a drama series. It's an adaptation of the Valiant graphic novel. Graphic novel, sure.
It's not a graphic novel.
Yeah, comic book series. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
From Rain co-creator Laurie McCarthy in DMG Entertainment. Dr. Mirage is based on the graphic novel about a female paranormal investigator who can communicate with the dead souls, except for the one that she wants to reach, the love of her life. And you're probably thinking to yourself, that sounds familiar. Have we talked about this before? Maybe you're not, because you have a shit memory that we've established.
I mean, the fact that you said they're taking another stab at the start of this description was maybe a giveaway. It
was a bit of a giveaway, but I was like, yeah, that sounds not very familiar. Luckily, at the end of the article, they were kind enough to point out that it was previously in development, also at the CW during the 2016 to 2017 season, with a different potential showrunner. So we did talk about this before in the news, like 2 years ago.
Yeah, okay. I can see this being so CW that it hurts.
Sure.
And also, I've seen like 15 minutes of Rain across a few seasons because my girlfriend liked it. Nope, I'm out. Hard out.
She's got horrible taste, is what you're saying. Then
She likes the period drama, CW style period drama thing.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, no. I mean, other stuff as well, but I'm out on those.
I don't know. It's got a bit of an iZombie kind of premise going for it.
You definitely haven't seen any of Rain.
I'm talking about Dr. Mirage, based on what
I
it's
know,
telling me here.
But it's the same showrunner, right?
Yeah, but it's not going to be a period piece. Like that's
No. But that went so CW in terms of love triangles and all that sort of stuff that I'm like, nope, I'm out.
All right. I wasn't that hopeful for it.
I'll tell you now. End of season 1, she finally accepts to move on, and she starts dating one of the 3 guys that are alive, and then all of a sudden she can reach her dead lover again. That is how it ends.
I liked how you said that are alive. She starts dating one of the 3 guys that are alive.
Well, to distinguish it from the dead one. In context of this show,
you don't have to do it, but we know he's dead. It's fine. We don't have to assume it's another ghost. She's dating another dead guy.
I think she could be. She's contacting all the dead guys.
True. I suppose that's true. CW are also working on a Jane the Virgin spin-off with co-executive producer Valentina Garza on board to write and executive produce, who's not the creator of Jane the Virgin, but she came on board in like season 3, so she's been there for a while working on it.
Fair enough.
So it's been produced as well by the star of Jane the Virgin and that. So here's the potential premise of this though. I've never seen the show, but apparently the character's a writer, and the premise of the spin-off is that each season would be an anthology, and each season would be on a book that character's written.
One of her stories.
And they're in talks with her to narrate and be the narrator for this. And I'm like, okay, do you know what? His ideas for a spin-off
one of the most unique spin-offs I've heard.
Yeah, as an idea for a spin-off goes, that's not ridiculous. And do you know the thing is it can kind of have a How I Met Your Mother feel to it and the narration side of things, but because each season's its own story, they don't have to drag it out for 50 goddamn years, so it's unsatisfying at the end for everyone.
This is CW's way of having an anthology.
Yeah.
But tying it to a show that, already has an established fan base.
Yeah. So you have your star doing the narration, and I think that's an easy gig for her. Even if she's doing a lot of movies, all you need on a booth for a couple of days a year, doing all the start and end bits.
Easy enough.
Yeah, that's an easy gig. I think as an actor, you'd love to get a little gig like that because they'll pay a reasonable amount for what it is.
Oh, they will, yeah.
Because she's the star.
Because they need her.
Yeah. Otherwise, the concept doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
And they'll happily pay it because they don't have to pay her for a lot of days. It's just okay. We'll just
just here, take your lump sum and go.
Take your lump sum. We'll record with you for 2 days and then you can go.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah. So there you go. And it's something as well that it can fit into CW's. They do a lot of 13 to 16 episode seasons. They can do that.
And we know that they're planning on doing stuff over the summer soon, right?
That's true. Yeah, that's gonna be a summer thing. Yeah.
So I mean, it seems prime for that, to me at least.
Next up, ABC is developing a reboot. In fact, they're rebooting Dick Wolf's New York Undercover, which is going to be written by Hand of God creator Ben Watkins. As someone who's seen the premiere episode of Hand of God, I do not.
Are you out?
I'm pretty out. I mean, this isn't something we'd watch on ABC anyway, but still. Created by Wolf and Kevin Arcady, New York Undercover aired on Fox for 4 seasons between 1994 and 1998. It starred Malik Yoba and Michael DiLorenzo as 2 undercover detectives in New York City's 4th Precinct. It was the first police drama on American television to feature 2 people of colour in starring roles. So it was notable for that reason. So they're going to do a reboot of this. I'd actually never heard of it, to be honest.
No, not this particular Wolf show.
No. Obviously NYPD Blue is the big one that I think gets mentioned. But ABC is also developing a show called Exhibit A. That sounds boring, doesn't it? This is going to be a boring one. It's a legal drama from The Good Doctor executive producer Daniel Day Kim. I mean, I like him as an actor when he's popped up and stuff. He was, of course, on the spin-off to the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
God damn it, I knew there was one that you had later.
This one was actually on the Buffyverse, though, so I saved it for this guy, as opposed to try to work my Firefly connection in.
Yeah, like that stopped you before.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, this is a legal drama. He played a lawyer for Wolfram and Hart on Angel. Which was the demon's attorneys kind of thing. All your shady demons and so on.
All I will say is, you haven't even read any of the rest of this concept
Yes.
yet. It would be better if they were demon lawyers.
It would be, absolutely. It's written by Warren Hsu. Warren Hsu. I'm not familiar how to pronounce that last name. Middle name. It's Warren Zhu Leonard. I could have just skipped his middle name, I suppose. Just, you know what? Just call it quits and just say the first and last. That sounds good enough. But he worked on How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, I like that show.
All right. Oh, there you go. Exhibit A is based on a South Korean series, which this is a much better title. My Lawyer, Mr. Joe.
That has so much more character to it, doesn't it?
And actually, there was an image in this article of the original Korean show, and it was like the three main characters, like the older lawyer, and obviously I'm about to mention there's going to be a younger guy, and like whoever the woman lead is, right? And they're all sort of standing in a light, and one of them's holding a baseball bat towards the camera, and it just looks kind of like inherently goofy, but in a fun way, despite the fact that it's a law show. And I'm like, man, this looks way better than whatever this is going to turn out to be.
We should just watch Korean TV.
We should. I bet Korean TV is a blast. I'm willing to bet it.
It sounds way better than American TV.
My Lawyer, Mr. Joe. Way better. It centers on a disgraced former prosecutor, Andrew Cho, whose career is sabotaged by the corrupt power brokers he's working to take down. But in losing everything, Andrew discovers something new, a life of purpose. Along with a clever, driven young associate and the legal staff of loyal misfits, Andrew becomes the fearless, caring underdog lawyer that he is always meant to be. Together they give a voice to the voiceless and speak the truth to power, no matter the voice to the voiceless. We hope we give hope to the helpless. Which was from Angel, in case anyone's well, it was hope to the helpless, and then it turned into hope to the hopeless. Whereas that sound
like
better.
It logically should be.
Yeah, but I always remember when I go back and watch season 1 of Angel, the first time it comes up, it's hope to the helpless, and then because Doyle incorrectly says we hope you're helpless when he answers the phone, and that's a really funny line. So. Yeah. That's why they changed it, because people can accidentally say it the wrong way around, and it sounds.
And also, just because it doesn't make as much sense as hope for the hopeless. Help for the helpless and hope for the hopeless.
This is making me want to watch Angel. I mean, that's all this is doing.
Yeah, well, you're not there yet.
I'm not there yet. I'm doing commentaries on Patreon. I'm almost at the end of season 2 of Buffy. It's going swimmingly.
So you got another full season.
Another full season before I get to Angel episodes. But hey.
See you in 6 months.
Yes. Next up, then, 6 months.
Give or take, right? I'm assuming one a week.
It's every 2 weeks, not every week.
Oh, okay. All right. See you in a year.
I was like, that's like 12 episodes worth. What are you talking about?
I assumed you were doing them every week. I don't pay attention to your schedule.
Making promises that I'm not keeping here. Shut up. You shut your mouth. Next up.
You look bad.
ABC is put in development in Threads, a drama from Lindsay Rosen, who worked on NBC's Cruel Intentions. Yeah, the one that never actually happened. Yeah, that's good.
It's a good sign.
Threads centers around aspiring designer Jessica Lee, who finds herself at the center of the biggest battle for power in the fashion world when the legendary founder of the iconic brand, where she currently works as an assistant, is forced to step down, setting off a cutthroat, high-stakes search for his replacement. Caught between her loyalty and her ambition, Jessica must navigate sex, secrets, and succession as the beauty of the fashion gets ugly.
Is this one of those iconic brands that's so iconic that we can't actually give it a proper name?
Probably. That was the last news story, and I actually want to give credit to the news this week that I don't think we encountered any variation of professional and personal lives at any point in the entire show.
To be fair, it is also the smallest news show we've had in a while.
It is. It's been a bit smaller, but still, I'll give them credit. Because there was at least a handful of network TV pitches there.
There was a couple of times that I thought it was going to go into it. The basketball one? The basketball? Yeah. There was a sentence at the end of that sounded like it was going to go into it, and then but it didn't, to be fair.
Yeah. No, it was just about how the coaches are corrupt assholes.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
it's going to.
But the start of the sentence.
Yeah. So no. Joe, we should start. Since we're not doing favorite episode of TV this week, I think we should start a new thing.
Oh, if you start doing favorite episode of Buffy, I'm
No.
out of here.
How can I do that every week?
Oh, you'd find a way.
You know, my life's changed in the past week, so my favorite episode of Buffy's changed. No. I think it's maybe worth picking a favorite news story of the week.
Oh, what? I've forgotten them all already.
Like, what's the one that, you know, is the most interesting or promising or maybe just surprising, perhaps? Most notable is maybe the best thing to say. Standout story of the week. Standout story. There you go.
Standout story for me was that we've got another show on the 22nd of December. Genuinely, nothing topped that moment for me.
Christ. Demon's Path, or what was that called?
Demon Paths, I think.
Demon's Path. That was possessive.
Okay.
Demon's Path. The one that I am most interested or excited about is The Outsider on HBO. It's got some talent. It's got a premise that I can get behind.
Alternatively, the Grisham Universe is something else.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, there you go. That's the news this week. So there was not a whole lot. We did have the premiere of Night Flyers, which we said last week wasn't coming till this weekend. I swear Sci-Fi pushed the date forward a week at some point, because we've had it on our schedule for this coming Sunday for months.
Here's the thing. One of two things has happened. Sci-Fi have moved the date, or Peter read the date wrong and put it, or just read our calendar wrong when he was writing it on. Both are equally possible in my mind.
It's happened before. This wouldn't be the first time that a network has changed the date after they've initially given a date that we've written down. Written down.
Alternatively,
written down's not a word. Look, guys, I'm still waking up, alright?
Yeah. Alternatively, it would also not be the first time that you've put something on the wrong day without realising.
True.
So, both are genuine possibilities, and we'll never know.
I mean, we could look up and see if the Sci-Fi moved the date at some point.
I mean, we could, but we'll never know.
If we can find an article that says it was coming out this coming Sunday, then at least at some point there was an article saying that, and therefore...
We will never know. It will be one of life's greatest mysteries.
Oh, dear.
But it was terrible, so don't watch it.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. It was bad. In 1983, after a somewhat promising but kind of dull first episode, got way more dull and less promising in episode 2, so we dropped that after that as well.
Yeah, don't bother with that one either.
On the upside though, coming this Friday, we do have Travellers, and we have the Sabrina Christmas special, and I think we also have Tidelands that day.
We did.
Whether or not we get to Tidelands is entirely time dependent, because clearly the Sabrina episode and Travellers season 3 are far more important.
I feel like we've had a really relaxed 2 or 3 weeks.
We have. In fact, I'd say it's beyond that. It's been a boring 2 or 3 weeks because there's been no goddamn TV to watch.
Yeah, and we've also been working through the Star Trek movies, so we couldn't even fill it with episodes of the show. Just be like, usually, okay, well, we haven't got anything else.
Yeah, we'll get ahead on track. But because we were on the movies, it was like, it's not an hour long; it's a 2-hour thing.
We couldn't fit that in on the other slot.
Yeah.
So it was kind of quiet, and now all of a sudden Netflix are going, here you go, have 6 shows in 2 weeks.
Bastards.
They really are.
So that's coming next week.
And I'm hearing even more about Black Mirror that same day. The rumors are intensifying for that day.
The 28th, yes. Well, whatever. We expect.
Yeah. Just busy. Netflix. I feel like I said quiet month. Before I felt since Sabrina.
Yeah. Since Sabrina, it's felt quiet.
Which was what? That was mid-October.
No, it wasn't. It was Halloween.
Was
it was the Friday before Halloween.
Okay, so it was like the 20-something. It was 2/3 into October.
It was late October. Don't even start.
I am finding when Sabrina was, because I am not standing for this slander. It probably was, to be honest. It was it may have been the 26th.
Yeah, shut up. That is not mid-October.
It's
Under no circumstances that mid.
It's mid-October, November.
Piss off. It was the 26th, and I know that because it was 2 weeks after Haunting a Hill House, which was like the 10th or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 12th probably, if it's exactly 2 weeks. But
my point was, though, it's been like 6 weeks, and Netflix has been pretty quiet. And then in the space of a month, we're getting Travelers, Tidelands, Sabrina Christmas Special, Diablero,
Demon's Path. Let's not forget Demon's Path.
Potentially Black Mirror, and then a series of unfortunate events. It's like 7 things in 3 weeks.
Busy times. That's fine. So that is this week's news. Let us know what you thought of any of the news stories in the comments below. Feel free to give Connor shit for his opinions on Christmas, and otherwise we'll see you next time. Obviously, the plugging. I need to tell you about things.
Yeah, you are supposed to do that.
Yeah, Twitter is at mail_fuzz for channel updates. You can like and subscribe. It helps out a lot with YouTube's algorithms and how it promotes our content. And of course, you can help us even more than that by going over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv and signing up and supporting us financially for as little as $1. You get access to a few extra things for $1. You get some early stuff for $1, and then there's more stuff a little bit higher up as well. But you can go do that. So that is us. So thank you once again for watching and listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?